value of x in each figure. This one is based on the fact that it's a chord, A, B, C, and D. So A times B equals C times D. So in your problem, it's 12 times 2 equals 3 times x.
Okay.
Right. And so that means that x ends up equaling 24 divided by 3. 24 divided by 3 or 8.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense.
Does it make sense? All right, great. Letter B is an angle problem. Or, I'm sorry, it's a similar triangle problem. I think this is the hardest one. It's so the you have an angle right here, and then you've got another angle here, but they share this side. So it's a little bit, I think it's a little wonky depending on how many times you've seen this, but the 16 and the x, and then if I flip this other one, kind of, ooh, that doesn't flip right, does it? Okay, yeah. So the other one, we draw the other one. I'm sorry, it's 15 and 3 like that, and the angles are the same. So I believe though, how did you pair this up? X and 3. See, I'm not seeing, because I thought this was a flip alongside of the, think of like folding this, but then that wouldn't go, that would go up that way. So if we folded down the other way though, would that work? What I think though is the 16 goes with the 15 and the x goes with the x plus 3. Let's just
I
try it
think
and
so,
see if
yeah.
that gives reasonable answers here. It does kind of. So if you cross multiply here, you get 15x equals 48. X equals 48 divided by 15. They're both divisible by 3. 16 over 5 or 3.2, which I think is reasonable. I mean, if the 16 is a little bit longer than the 15, the x is probably a little bit longer than the 3. That looks okay to me.
Okay. Okay, yeah.
It's hard to see the similarity proportion. They're also not right triangles, so it's even more, it's not as straightforward. This one has a formula here. I use different letters, but the angle here, little arc, big arc, the angle is 1/2, the difference, big arc, little arc. You have almost everything, although I put x in a different spot. Your x is 12. It's half of what I call the bigger arc length. I'm sorry, measured, not length, minus the other arc measure.
Okay. So then you would just distribute and then move it to the other side.
I would clear the 1/2 by multiplying first. Like you can multiply everything by 2 to get rid of it.
Okay.
That'll be a little bit better.
That makes sense. Okay. So then x would be 44.
Yes. Yes. And you want to think about reasonableness of your answer. If it looks bigger, it should be bigger than that one. Okay, and the fourth part of number 5. All right. Do you see anything that you can find just looking at this? Like I know we got to get to X, but sometimes you're like, what can I find?
So I see, since they're both right triangles, I see a 3, 4, 5, which then would make the other one a 5, 12, 13.
You got it. Well done. All right, so I think you said number 7.
Yes.
Okay. All right, we'll get to this list in a moment. kind of again, like if you see something, you should just mark it down. Like this is a 3, 4, 5 again. So this is right here is 8. Happens to be the thing that you're looking for. One of them. It's not everything, but it's a good place to start.
Okay.
And now I think I don't remember if I've shown you this or not, but there's 3 triangles. There's the small one, the medium, and then the large one. And there's a bunch of proportions you can set up. You kind of got to decide, well, what am I going to find next? The most reasonable thing to find next is probably this one down here on the medium triangle. The reason is on the small triangle, you have the same stuff. You have the short leg and the long leg. You can find the long leg of the medium by setting up a proportion.
Okay.
You need help setting that up? Do you want me to show you? Do you want to try it?
It's like that one. It's like there's like one that it's like xw squared equals wz times wy.
Wow, that's a lot to remember. I do it a little differently. I write small triangle, medium triangle, and then short leg, long leg, and you have 3 of the 4. Like we're gonna put the short leg and long leg over here, which is the stuff that you're saying, the side lengths, but the letters could change and all the problems. 6 and 8, and then A is down here, 8 is here. You try solving this for us, please.
Okay. I believe that it would be equal to 50/3, I think.
I got 6A equals 64.
Oh, yes. That's what it was. I think I just like,
So A ends up being 32/3, which doesn't look great, but maybe it'll get better.
yeah.
But that's the setup here. Now to find this other one, I know I'm getting away from like what it actually wants. WY you can now find if you want, but find the other one you can use the Pythagorean theorem on, or set up another proportion for XC. So we actually have found, I guess, everything. W to Y is 6 plus the 32/3, which is the 50/3 you were mentioning earlier.
Okay.
All right, so you think you mentioned maybe another page. Guessing it's the chapter, the cumulative review after chapter
Yes,
50.
it's page 706,
Okay,
number 20.
number 20. Okay. I have number 20 being on a different page, but maybe that's but that's okay. Let me just make sure it's the right problem here. Okay, is this the problem that you'd like to work on? All right, fantastic. Given BD is a diameter, well, that sure doesn't look like it goes through the center of the circle, does it? Okay. AB is 10. Okay, it's probably good to label that. Angle C is 40. Do you remember how to find the measure of arc AE from the 40?
It's twice 40, right? So it's 80.
Very good. And I like to do that, even though maybe it doesn't specify it. It might help later on. G to F to C, G to F to C. So this one is 80 right here. Okay. I think that's everything. Now we can find this angle, third angle of the triangle, but what are we trying to find? We're trying to find C to D. Like that. Okay. So to find C to D, and sometimes it really helps to redraw all the stuff to kind of indicate, well, what is C to D? This is C to D down here. I'll call it big M for the moment. This is 10. So if we knew either of these angles in here, we could find big M.
Okay.
And the reason is the I'll draw this off to the side. Little m, big M, and x equals the average of little m plus big M divided by 2. So we actually can find that angle there. That angle comes from the triangle. Whoa. So this angle, the angle there is the same as the angle there. Looks like it's 60. So that allows you to find our C to D or M. Could you attempt to do that for us, please?
Yeah, so how would where does like that 60 degrees fit into the,
It's the X. Let me draw another red. So the 60 degrees is the X. It's using this equation over here on the right. 60 equals the unknown plus the 10 divided by 2.
okay,
This
okay.
it's not a central angle, it's just a interior to the circle angle, and it is the average of the two arc lengths.
Okay. Okay, I got 110 degrees.
Okay, I agree. So that's 110 degrees. That's C to D. All right, now to find E to D. E to D is a little more difficult. It's this over here. So what we really wish we knew was the angle E to F to D right here. Do we know E to F to D?
Um, yes.
It's a
That was
vertical
also
angle.
80 degrees because the vertical
Yes,
angles are
good.
concurrent.
Yeah. So that's good. Now we really want to know D to E. And if we knew, because I can sort of draw, you can sort of see that's related to this B to C by the same thing. So if you knew B to C, you could then find this. Now, the other thing is that we almost missed this, is that B to D is a diameter, which means that, I'm going to focus on that here. That means that B all the way to D is how many degrees?
180.
Yes. Now your book is really good at, they don't give you like extra information. And they wouldn't tell you this if it wasn't important. So while you could use B to C, and we could do that, that's a more complicated way. We have to write a couple of equations. You can actually find it by saying, okay, I got 10, I got 80. This must be 90 degrees.
Okay.
The follow-up needed from that.
Can you just write out like the work, like the subtraction work for that, just so I can like
Sure.
see?
Sure. It's 10 plus 80 plus the measure from E to D equals 180, like that.
Okay, yeah, that looks good.
Right. So a lot of times, you know, in these classes, you have to remove lines and redraw it to kind of see the relationship. Okay, do you have another question you'd like us to look at? Another problem on here?
Yeah, so this one's not in the book, but it's just a right triangle with legs 4 and 12 units, and then she just wants us to figure out the angles and the missing side length.
So first so we need to find C, and then I'll just draw like A, B, and big C. And it is a right triangle for sure?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So consider presenting your answer in kind of a nice organized way. Helps for grading. Okay, so we know that angle C is 90. We know that little b is 4, little a is 12. The little a and little b are always across from the big letters. So how are you going to find the hypotenuse of the right triangle? How do you find the hypotenuse of?
She wants us to use our right triangle trig. So
Okay, so but just more generally, I guess we haven't done this. Well, we kind of did. You did earlier, 3, 4, 5, 5, 12, 13. Use Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. So 4 squared plus 12 squared equals c squared. Could you try simplifying that?
yes. So it would be the square root of 160.
Yes, but you have to be able to reduce that, I assume.
Yeah.
You can probably by this point know that it's the square root of 16 times 10 becomes 4 root 10. If you if you're comfortable, otherwise you kind of got to do a expansion on it. All right, so that's all the sides. To find the angles, you have to use sine, cosine, or tangent. Which to find angle A, you actually can use any of them because you have all three sides. So do you have a preference? Like, do you like?
My mom wants to ask you a question really quick about the
Sure,
time.
sure.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes. Hi, Lane.
Hi. I didn't know if you have the time to go the full amount, and then you can just bill me.
Sure. Yeah. I didn't want to, presume that you guys want to do that. Sure. Yeah, I can go as long as you need for full hour today. Absolutely.
Do you have enough to work on together?
I don't know. We're running out of stuff to work on, but that's
Oh, okay. Well, then
it's up
maybe she
to,
doesn't need the full time. Maybe I'll
yeah,
just. I think
if needed.
her final is going to be broken up into 2 parts, so maybe
Okay.
She'll do like another one with you after the first
Sure.
part.
Sure.
I'll see how she does. I did want to ask you one more question though.
Yeah, of course.
I'm sorry, my dog's.
No problem.
For next year, her placement for math, would you steer her towards doing trig, or should she do college algebra?
What's the long-term goal? Like, where are you guys looking at for colleges? What do you think she's going to do in college? If you know that's kind of the way to answer it. Depends how math intensive she wants to be.
I don't really want to do anything super math intensive in college.
So you got to be careful. Like, so some students say like, yeah, I'm going to go and be a doctor, and then they find out they end up having to take 2 semesters of calculus at that school. So sometimes
gotcha.
you end up having to take more math than you think. And I would discourage you from like limiting yourself, but at your school, it's very difficult to do, trig and pre-calculus and all that. Have you guys started looking at schools for college? I mean, do you kind of
We kind of like think probably U of A more than any, more than likely.
okay. Okay. So, a great state school. I went there, they have a great options for a lot of their programs. The math classes there resemble closer to UHS than say other high schools. I mean, they're very difficult, but they're doable if you have the right things. Um, you're not getting any credit for college algebra, but they are now offering an AP college algebra. I just learned. Um, AP pre-calculus. Have they talked about that at your school?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I think
That-
the only AP math classes that we have are like AP Calc and AP Stats.
So it's brand new. They're just offering, I think, this year, and
Oh, okay.
that could be an option. The college algebra is probably going to be very easy for you after a class like this. So I don't know how your other class load looks. Um, based on what you just said, I mean, you probably you could do either, but if you want to hold off on doing more math, then you could probably do college algebra. Um,
Do you
that way it's
think,
not-
yeah, is like, so trig would be, because I'm not sure if her difficulties with this was just more like getting behind on the work or like just understanding the concepts, like there's kind of a difference. So I wasn't sure if like trig would be like a huge struggle.
when I sort of challenge her with some problems, she's doing great. It's just a question of workload. Like trig is going to be more work, and she can
Okay.
do it. It's going to be more work. It's going to be stressful, lots of homework, but she's
Gotcha.
capable. But there's nothing wrong with saying, I don't want to do it right now.
Yeah.
I'm not into like pain and suffering every night with doing homework. So i- it's going to be more intensive. So if she's up for it, you could try it. You can always fall back to college algebra too. Look at it that way if it doesn't work out.
Okay. All right, cool. I'll let you guys. Sorry.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, so we left off trying to solve for angle A. And I was asking kind of which one you want to use. I'm just going to go with tangent for the moment. Tangent of A is 12/4. Opposite over adjacent. Do you remember how to undo tangent in the calculator?
I know it's like the arctangent with like
Exactly. And you have to go to the calculator. There's no way to do this by hand. Before calculators, they had tables. Believe it or not, students would look these up in tables. But if you got a calculator handy, or you can do that, use that Desmos Scientific. Can you give me that answer to like 1 decimal place, please?
71.6.
Yes. All right. So to find the other angle, you don't have to go to that much trouble. You just need to remember that all the angles add up to 180, or the non-right angle sum is 90. So A plus B adds up to 90, giving you 28.4 degrees.
Okay.
Have you thought about what degree you might pursue in college, or does that feel really far away?
I think I might get some sort of fine arts degree. I'm not
Okay.
completely sure what exactly that'll be yet, but
Okay. So that is like a college algebra and you're done with math forever. But as soon as any sort of BS, and any sort of BS program is going to require maybe a little more math potentially. So, all right. Do you have some other problems for us to work on?
let me check really quick.
Sure.
Not that I can see. I got 100% on the rest of the review problems. So
That's good. All right. Any other, we got a few minutes if you'd like, any other things you need answered or any other kind of questions leading to the final?
No, I printed out a unit circle and I've been like memorizing that too.
Oh, yeah. I
So
remember doing that.
there were like a couple of questions on that and I got them right. So that was nice to know.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, that's what I meant when I was talking to your mom, that I think you can